What's up? What's up? Just getting some shares out here. It's a bit later than I was hoping to get started with this, but it is what it is. Just got so much going on here that things take time. But we got a lot to talk about today, as always. And drop some links here to the fam. Hope y'all are having a fantastic evening. We'll be rolling momentarily here, folks. All right, let's get into it.
You are watching Chaos Crypto News, the crypto news that you need to know.
What's happening, everybody? Hope your evening is going fantastic. Like I said, I was hoping to get this happening earlier on. It's just been a crazy day again. I was hoping to get a video out a couple days ago already, but things have just been absolutely nuts, both in the crypto world and in life. So, you know how it is, I'm sure. But first things I want to stress as we get started here is this is not financial advice, folks. Always do your own research and make sure that you don't trust, but verify. You can trust too, but as long as you verify. A little bit of Quantzilla news to start the day off here. So supporters of Quantzilla holding 1 billion or more QZilla tokens on the XRPL who are waiting for a 5% supply airdrop of 50 billion BNB and 50 billion poly-wrapped QZilla tokens will have to hang tight as we manually verify the entries and sift through over 400 applicants, as we have had scammers using verified Zilla holders' addresses to try and fudge the system in an effort to access ill-gotten gains. We don't roll like that, and we will be addressing this over the coming days, but don't fear, your airdrops will come soon. Stronger together on the XRPL. Well, we're building more partnerships one by one, and we're partnering with yet another XRPL token to create something groundbreaking. A united community where multiple tokens can be united. A brand new NFT collection with a whitelist for holders of 1 billion or more QZilla, and a new Discord community with token-gated access on some of the chats for holders of different NFT collections to get their degen on, a solid AMM, and more. Stay tuned to the Quantzilla Telegram for more info in the coming days. And watch for an upcoming announcement of a special airdrop of another XRPL token to QZilla holders. As well, holders of XOGE on XRPL will be getting a present soon, so if you aren't holding ZOGE, you may be inclined to load your bags. Paid to raid weekly payout master list will be updated for this week's gains in the next day or two in our announcement section on our Telegram as well. One list to rule them all. You can bank your raider rewards as they don't expire, or you can cash out and start fresh on the next week's rollover. Don't forget to hit that rocket on deck screener for QZilla Daily too. We're climbing and it's exciting stuff. If you haven't jumped in yet, head over to www.quantzilla.online, join our Telegram, get paid to raid, and make sure you also verify our coin addresses there because we do have impersonators. Also, check out my YouTube if you're watching on X for crypto games content, some scam investigations, XCC and Cardano deep dives, interviews, more news segments, and a whole lot more. You can find me at KhaosDubz. There's links in the description below as well on YouTube for a whole bunch of stuff. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and follow. Let's dive in. First, we got some Twitter posts to go over here. So this one's from Finance Bro. Breaking news, David Schwartz, Ripple CTO, has revealed that XRP is set to drastically reduce transaction fees to near zero, positioning XRP as the dominant currency in the banking world. The rise of XRP to between $10,000 and $35,000 is no longer a question of if, but when. Let's see what David Schwartz has to say.
Happen no matter what. That is a given. We had a revolution in the physical delivery of goods with the shipping container, which changed globalization, started globalization. We had a revolution in the delivery of information with the internet. But what we don't know is, what is the TCP/IP of money? What is the shipping container of value? We don't know that yet. There's going to be one, though. That is a definite. And that's going to bring changes. And what I also want to get through is that one of those changes that I foresee and that I think is important is that the size of payments are going to shrink, drastically shrink. Many of you people here probably have a job and you probably get paid twice a month or every 2 weeks. Well, why is that? You probably pay bills once a month. Well, why is that? It's because payments are expensive and clunky. But if payments were cheap and simple, then those frequencies could go up. Money could be streamed at you while you're working. You could stream money to your landlord to pay for the place where you're staying. Now, I know those sound dumb, and I'll be blunt. Yeah, they are. And I'll tell you, like, if we were talking about email in the late 90s and you said to me, like, what are people going to use email for? I probably could not have given you the examples that is on everyone probably here, probably has a cell phone, probably has email on it, and probably has hundreds of messages that look nothing like postal mail or the messaging that existed in the late 90s. None of that could I have predicted. If you'd asked me if the internet had enough bandwidth in the year 2000, I would have said, yeah, it has plenty of bandwidth. Well, could I have imagined Netflix and on-demand video? That's ridiculous, right? Like, the cost of bandwidth is too high for that. But the internet drove the cost of bandwidth down to zero. And if the cost of payments go down to zero, the world is going to change. And I'm going to explain some of the ways that I think that's going to change and what that means.
So you heard it there. That's pretty exciting stuff because he does have a point, right? Like, we don't really have the potential to foresee exactly what's going to happen in the future. You know, people, when the internet boom was happening, were kind of like, oh yeah, I'll never give my credit card to strangers online or whatever. And now it's like the normal way to shop for stuff. So, it's there's going to be some definite shifts in mentality and in the reality of payments and finance, among other things, of course. Web3 for the win. A few more Twitter posts to talk about here today, folks. So one from Ito Farina here. 80% market meltdown inevitable. Must read. He says, I've been raising alarms about the dangerously low liquidity in the crypto markets for a while now, and it's becoming painfully clear. Many coins will not experience another bull run. Brad Garlinghouse's bold prediction that 99% of cryptos will go to zero is proving itself to be prophetic. So let's break it down. Big institutions were the first to cash out when Bitcoin prices were above 100K, fueling a strategic campaign to attract retail investors. This coordinated effort even saw the US president attending Bitcoin conferences, all conveniently timed at the market's peak. Compared to previous bull runs, liquidity is more than 400% lower. This means there's simply not enough money flowing through the system to sustain widespread price growth. Trump's influence has only exacerbated the situation, contributing to greater instability in the crypto markets. His actions have enabled more market manipulation, adding to the overall chaos. He even launched his own meme coin, which plummeted 90%, setting a precedent that encouraged countless celebrities and opportunistic grifters to enjoy the party. If the US president can do it, why wouldn't you? Meme coins, especially on Solana, have further drained liquidity from an already struggling market, with platforms like Pump Fund intensifying the culture of farming and scams. This has only worsened the impact on liquidity, which was already dangerously low. And we've kind of talked about this in some of the previous episodes. It definitely has caused a bit of a damper on the larger market. Traders have adopted a short-term mentality, prioritizing quick profits through farming with little concern for long-term value or sustainability. Meanwhile, the buy early culture has turned into a dangerous gamble, where missing the right moment could lead to devastating losses. The once promising idea of buying early into a project has now become a race against time. If you're not glued to your phone, waiting for the perfect second to buy, you're probably too late, as most new coins will face a 99% dump shortly after launch. And I mean, that can be seen if you just check on Dex Screener on the most recent coins that are launched, and you'll see them go up and down within a couple of candles. Even coins with established ecosystems such as Atom, GRT, Matic, F, and others have continued to trade below their bear market lows. Despite having tangible use cases, active user bases, and integrated DeFi apps, they're consistently struggling with price action. This was never a bull cycle. But folks, remember, market cap is an illusion and price is a distraction. It all started with the ETFs, Trump's election as president, and his bullish declaration that this would be the best bull run ever. Well, I think it's only just starting. Don't let FUD freak you out, The presidential rally is over. The US president even attended the Bitcoin conferences, the crypto summit hosted at the White House, yet none of it has resulted in the promised outcomes. With zero capital gains on US based cryptos, all the most bullish narratives have already been priced in, yet for most coins, nothing has happened. The solution? Stick to superior tech and regulated assets. The answer to surviving and thriving in this environment is clear. Stick with the technologies and regulated assets that solve real-world problems. These are the projects that will benefit from increased demand and institutional adoption, driving prices up substantially. The inevitable decouple is approaching. XRP is leading the charge. It has proven itself as one of the top performers in this bull run. For the first time, we're witnessing something unique, a utility-driven bull run already in motion. And that's what I keep saying, folks. As soon as, the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin may not hold true into the future. Because as soon as you take in utility into account, all bets are off. Technical analysis and all this other stuff isn't going to matter so much. The 4-year cycle, none of that's going to matter so much. Utility is going to drive adoption like no other. Moving on here. So another one from Ito Farina here. $1.9 trillion wiped out from the stock and crypto markets. X has been the victim of a cyber attack. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the video. AI is triggering layoffs. The bond market is under pressure. Tether's under investigation. And there's been credit card delinquencies. The system is falling apart. And when it does, XRP will rise from the ashes. When the switch flips, it's going to happen like that. It's going to happen overnight. You're going to wake up one day and be like, oh my God, if you're holding XRP, XDC, and XLM. Again, not financial advice, but definitely something I would suggest looking into. Now, we got another post here on X, but this one's by Ripple Van Winkle. Interesting stuff here, and we're going to touch a little bit more on some of this later on in the video as well. Something incredibly suspicious is happening. Bank of Canada plus Ripple connection? Okay, sure. Mark Carney plus Ripple pilot? Okay, sure. Mark Carney equals the new Canadian PM because Trudeau stepped down and they put him in as the current placeholder for the Liberals. Why is no one talking about this massive Ripple connection in Canada? The pieces are falling into place too perfectly. Are we witnessing the biggest financial power move in history? Someone needs to investigate this. Wake up, people. This is not a coincidence. Same man who tested Ripple at Bank of England is now running Canada. We will talk, like I said, a little bit more about this, but it's interesting that Mark Carney's been involved with Ripple over the years. As much as many people don't like him, myself included, I don't think the Liberals are good for Canada at all. We're paying out the nose for taxes, for fuel, for food, for everything is just absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, they're taking all our rights, right? They're trying to take all our guns. There's just a whole nother gun ban that went through. They're trying to basically ban everything, including 22s, saying they're weapons of war, 9mm carbines and stuff, and saying they're going to give them to Ukraine to go fight the war. Fuck, nobody's fighting a war with 22s and 9mm carbines. It's absolutely ridiculous bullshit. Even so, just because, people have a semi-auto AR, for example, right? And in Canada, I don't even know if we have, what's left of those. I'm not too versed on that myself. I know there's a bunch of different versions that do fire the 5.56, but you're going to tell me that they're going to use a semi-auto consumer-grade weapon over something that would be, more applicable to a war zone, like something full auto that would be more military grade? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Regardless, though, this is some interesting information considering the fact that he is in bed with Ripple over the years. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting how this plays out. And the rest of this video is going to kind of, tip the scales a little bit in both directions. Let's move on. Canada's newly elected PM, Mark Carney's past Bitcoin criticisms have been unearthed. Canada's Prime Minister-designate, Mark Carney, previously expressed skepticism over Bitcoin's viability, notably calling cryptos indicative of financial bubbles and limited in utility during a 2018 speech. Before we go further in this article, I do want to mention Canada's parliament is already a fucking circus. It doesn't surprise me that we now have a Carney running the ride. It just all makes sense, but I think all that's going to change here pretty soon. Carney, who headed the Bank of England from 2013 to 2020, and he's actually the only person outside of English person from the UK to ever having done that, questioned Bitcoin's viability at the Scottish Economics Conference in Edinburgh University in 2018. Carney argued that cryptos such as Bitcoin inherently possess serious economic deficiencies due to their fixed supply rules. Now, this whole thing is backwards ass, if you ask me. Far from being strengths, he says, the fixed supply rules of cryptos such as Bitcoin are serious deficiencies. Fundamentally, they would impart a deflationary bias on the economy if such currencies were to be widely adopted. I don't know, isn't something deflationary that continuously goes up in value better than something that's inflationary where you're constantly losing the value of your dollar and your purchasing power day by day? It's fucking ridiculous. The long, charitable answer is that cryptos act as money, at best, only for some people and to a limited extent. And even then, only in parallel with the traditional currencies of the users, he continued. The short answer is, they're failing. Are cryptos really failing? This is absolutely FUD. This is like, look over there while we do some shit over here type of stuff, which is classic for the Liberals. Carney's comments resurfaced shortly after he won Canada's federal election. Again, that's not really true. He didn't win Canada's federal election. What happened here is Trudeau stepped down and the Liberal Party re-elected a new leader for the Liberal Party who is going to get ousted here in the next election, almost certainly. Replacing outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who did announce his resignation a couple of months ago there, it says. In the victory speech on Monday, Carney vowed to win the ongoing trade war with the U.S., while President Trump has yet to respond. Yeah, poke the bear some more, why don't you? We'll get into why this is not going to work out so well for the Liberals. Ultimately, his ability to manage these interconnected economic and diplomatic challenges may define both his tenure as Prime Minister and Canada's financial landscape for years to come. Yet it is. The Liberals have been a stain on Canada, and that's going to resonate for many, many generations, in my opinion. A little bit of Pi Network news here now. I've been calling this for a while, but Pi is not a legitimate project, and people are starting to realize why. Pi Network news. Users sell accounts amid mainnet migration issues. Well, not surprised. As Pi Network approaches the end of its grace period for migration to the mainnet, and apparently when I check in my Pi app, because I have been into this since basically the beginning, it shows that the grace period is extended to like July or something. So I don't know why there's two different numbers being thrown around here, but it is running into some serious problems. Many users are trying to sell their accounts, frustrated by the long lockup period. Others are struggling with technical issues while attempting to complete the migration. These challenges have shaken investor confidence, leading to a 20.6% drop in Pi's price over the past week. Pi Network has over 11.5 million accounts, but most of them remain locked. At least 62% of all accounts are locked for 3 years, meaning their coins cannot be traded until this period ends. Accounts with shorter lockup periods are far fewer. Around 1.1 million accounts are locked for 6 months, while nearly 1.6 million remain locked for 1 year. Many Pi Network users frustrated by the long wait are now trying to sell their accounts. Social media platforms have become a marketplace for these transactions. A post on X by Pending Ustaz reads, "A friend has 2.136 Pi for sale. The Pi is locked until 2027. If you buy, you will receive the passphrase, which grants full access to the wallet." A quick Google search for "sell locked Pi" reveals multiple listings from users trying to cash out. Selling Pi Network accounts is against the platform's rules. Accounts sold illegally could be invalidated, meaning buyers might lose access. There's also a high risk of scams, as fraudsters can take advantage of these unofficial deals. Additionally, sharing passphrases this way weakens the security of the entire network, making it more vulnerable to attacks. The deadline to migrate to the mainnet and complete KYC verification is set for March 14th. However, not all users have managed to complete the process due to technical errors. Many are now asking Pi Network to extend the deadline. Wow, after users getting all pissed off that it took them 6 fucking years to launch this bullshit coin, and it's a bunch of Harvard graduates that took 6 years to launch this bullshit data harvesting scam coin. Now they're like, oh, please extend it longer. This is hilarious. It's Munchausen's by proxy syndrome, like ridiculous. Absolutely. It is unclear if granting an extension would help, as the project is already struggling with declining market confidence. You think? I'm not going to beat the dead horse here, folks, but I mean, you can't find any legitimate information regarding Pi. All the YouTube channels that are, I shouldn't say all, but a vast majority of the YouTube channels that are talking about Pi are all slop AI bullshit channels. And the people in the comments are all people from poorer countries who are just waiting to dunk. Also, the Pi's IOU price was like $60 or $80, I believe, just before it launched on mainnet. And now it's what, $2 heading under $1? Absolute insanity. Moving on. California shuts over 26 crypto scam websites, and it has uncovered $4.6 million in losses. California's financial regulators have shut down 26 different crypto scam websites so far using a nationally recognized scam tracker tool. According to a report from the FBI, California lost a staggering $1.2 billion to crypto scams in 2023. The crypto scam tracker tool is updated with several new fraud schemes that target consumers and investors. Additionally, the regulator has added a new screenshot feature to display actual interactions with scammers. Some of the fraud schemes that perpetrators use include Bitcoin mining fraud, luring investors with a promise of shared rewards. Crypto gaming scams are also becoming increasingly popular in recent times that promotes play to earn and encouraging users to deposit funds. Other schemes include defrauding crypto investors with fake job offers, airdrops, and giveaways, apart from the wallet drainer attack structures and group investment frauds. We keep talking about scams in every episode, and I mean, not only the scams, but the $5 wrench attack. It's a real thing, folks. You really got to protect yourself. Always watch who you're talking to, watch who you're giving your information to. Definitely be aware of what's going on around you. Again, like I always say, don't trust, verify. Trust is a dirty word. $830,000 have been drained from Wells Fargo as customer executes brazen attack, triggers fraudulent bank transfers. A Wells Fargo customer is facing a decade in prison after taking advantage of an arrangement with the bank to steal nearly $1 million. California resident Kenneth Gould, who ran a payroll services firm, has pleaded guilty to bank larceny. Court documents show Gould executed fraudulent ACH payments from a client's account to his own payroll company's account at Wells Fargo, withdrawing the funds with cashier's checks. Gould's payroll services firm had a prior relationship with Wells Fargo where the bank would credit all or a portion of the payments to the receiving account before the ACH transfers cleared. When Wells Fargo discovered that the sending account had insufficient funds to cover the transfers, it abruptly blocked the payments and tried to recover the money initially sent, but it was already too late. Gould promised Wells Fargo that he would return the funds, but he never did. Surprise, surprise. In addition to a maximum 10-year sentence, Gould is facing a $250,000 fine. Insanity. Oh, some Solana news. Solana's on-chain revenue plunges 93% as meme coin hype fades. Again, surprise, surprise. Solana's on-chain revenue has dropped sharply, falling 93% over the past 2 months. The network generated $55.3 million in weekly revenue in mid-January, but that figure has since dropped to about $4 million. Solana's total value locked has also decreased significantly, falling from $12 billion to $6.4 billion. That's like 50% almost. That's pretty crazy. Solana's a dirty rug platform anyways. I mean, it's like people in there are such degens. Like, don't get me wrong, there's like degens, but then there's like, stupidity, right? These guys are like, oh, I'm going to invest my life savings in this rug. I know it's going to rug, but I'm going to try to, win something back, and then they fucking lose it all anyways. I mean, the odd guy wins, but like, where do you think the liquidity comes from? For somebody to win, the liquidity has to come from other people losing. That's just how the market works. Trump says, and this is touching back on the article we talked about earlier, but Trump says he'll make Canada pay for threatening to shut off electricity in parts of the U.S. This trade war is not going to go well, and this is partly the Liberals' fault. Once the Liberals are out and Trump can actually talk to somebody who has a fucking brain and makes sense, who's going to be our next PM, in my opinion, who's going to be Pierre Poilievre, then things are going to change a lot. But right now, the way this is going isn't looking great. Funny to touch on this, though, because we're going to talk about one of the conservative premiers who is actually making this situation a little bit worse. President Donald Trump has turned his attention to Canada, threatening economic retaliation after Ontario Premier Doug Ford, who's a conservative, imposed a 25% surcharge on electricity exports to the U.S. And this is breaking news, folks, because Trump vowed to make Canada suffer financially, calling the move an unprovoked attack and warning that the retaliation will be so severe that it will be read about in history books for many years to come. Ford's electricity levy took effect Monday, a direct response to Trump's previous tariffs on Canadian goods. Trump escalated the fight within hours, announcing new 50% instead of 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum from Canada, effective Wednesday morning, which is tomorrow, of course. This will go into effect tomorrow morning, March 12th. Trump is not stopping at steel and aluminum, though. He's now demanding that Canada drop what he calls an anti-American farmer tariff on U.S. dairy products, adding that if Ottawa refuses, he will substantially raise tariffs on Canadian auto imports on April 2nd. According to Trump, these auto tariffs will essentially permanently shut down the automobile manufacturing business in Canada. That's all we need is, more industries fucked over by taxes and bullshit government policy. Trump is also preparing to declare a national emergency on electricity in response to Ford's electricity surcharge. He says this will allow the U.S. to quickly do what has to be done to alleviate this abusive threat from Canada. It's unclear exactly what the emergency measure declaration would entail, but Trump has used similar tactics in the past to push through aggressive trade measures. The U.S. stock market has not reacted well. The S&P 500 is down 10% from its all-time high, officially entering correction territory following Trump's latest trade war escalation. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has brushed off the decline, calling it temporary, while Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent insists the economy is going through a rebalancing rather than a crisis. Ford took things further in an interview with CNBC's Money Movers, saying he would consider cutting off electricity exports to the U.S. states entirely if Trump continues to hurt Canadian families. He specifically pointed to Michigan, New York, and Minnesota, states that rely heavily on Ontario's power supply. I won't hesitate to do that, Ford said. That's the last thing I want to do, but I won't hesitate. This is all just not helping anybody. You know, the average person, the consumers in this thing are the ones getting hurt. The governments don't give a fuck about you, folks, on either side. Trump's on-again, off-again tariffs on Canada and Mexico have fueled months of economic uncertainty. Meanwhile, Ukraine has agreed to a U.S. proposal for a 30-day ceasefire with Russia. An Iranian president has dismissed Trump's latest threats, telling him, do whatever the hell you want. But for now, Trump seems more focused on his fight with Canada, and the economic fallout is just beginning. As if we're not paying enough taxes, everything has gone up, inflation is crazy, our dollar's falling, gold is hitting all-time highs regularly, and everything's just so fucking expensive, it's getting really, really hard to live. Just to live, never mind to like buy a fucking house or like actually, you know, advance in this world. It's just ridiculous. But that's the state we're in this world, folks. And I mean, there's nothing that we can really do other than to, you know, use our power in voting. You know, I've seen things happen over the last few years through COVID and stuff. The people are definitely waking up and things are going to change, but it's going to take time, unfortunately. And in that time, damage is being done that may be irreparable, unfortunately. In some brighter news, a solo miner has mined a block of Bitcoin on a 299 Bitmain device. On March 10th, a miner mined a block on the first crypto network using a home Bitax rig with a hash rate of 480 gigahashes per second. So it's like a lower end rig. And his reward amounted to 3.15 Bitcoin, or about $250,000, which is pretty insane for a cheaper rig. According to CK Pool administrator, the probability of computing a block with such power is 1 in a million. On average, it requires 3,500 years of work. This guy got extremely, extremely lucky. Solo mining is like, essentially, you go at a block yourself, and generally, most times, you get nothing instead of sharing like a mining pool reward. So if you go into a mining pool, and the pool mines the block, and the rewards are distributed evenly between the pool of miners, well, when you're solo mining, there is no reward if you don't get the entire block. But if you do, you get the entire block for yourself rather than having to share it with a bunch of other miners. Pretty cool stuff there. Of course, that's less likely to happen than the average. So, you know, don't think, oh, I'm going to jump in and get a solo miner and get lucky. But for $299 investment, that's pretty good. You know, definitely something to consider as a long shot. Always diversify, right? Hedge your bets, folks. Now, go back to one of the articles we talked about a little earlier regarding the X takedown. Darkstorm hackers launched ruthless DDoS attack, paralyzing X services. Thousands of users could not access X or Twitter after pro-Palestinian hacker groups Darkstorm claimed responsibility for a March 10th cyber attack. The group's now deleted Telegram post boasted, "We took Twitter offline." Musk confirmed the attack, stating that IP addresses linked to the hackers originated in the Ukraine region. He also noted rising tensions around Tesla protests, part of a broader takedown Tesla movement opposing his Doge spending cuts. Not much else to talk about there. This is an interesting one here, though, folks. Sam Altman is working on World to compete with Elon Musk's X. And this goes a little deeper here as we get into this article. Sam Altman is backing a new everything app that could directly challenge Elon Musk's X, according to Alex Blania, the CEO of World, the company behind the project. The app, which uses iris scanning technology for ID verification, has already started rolling out a mini app store with services for crypto transactions, microloans, and human-verified chats, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal on Monday. Sam, who co-founded OpenAI, has been deeply involved in the development of World, with Blania confirming that he is a key decision maker. World has been expanding its iris scanning network, which relies on a basketball-sized metal device called an orb to scan users' irises and verify that they are real humans. The company has already verified over 11 million users worldwide, but its biometric approach has also attracted regulatory scrutiny in multiple countries. The World Network ensures people can't create new accounts to bypass bans since their irises are already registered. The app has already signed up 70,000 users since launching in December. It's kind of sketchy. That's a bit of a two-edged sword there. I mean, yeah, it's good because there won't be any bots or, people faking accounts and all that stuff, but having that kind of data, what if there's a data breach? And I mean, data breaches happen all the time, right? This article goes on to say the battle between World and X is coming, and is it ever? While World is growing, it is not yet officially launched in the US. The company has avoided scanning irises in the country due to regulatory concerns, and it has not allowed Americans to hold its WorldCoin crypto token. Not very worldly, if you ask me. Elon Musk, who co-founded OpenAI with Sam Altman in 2015, claims the company abandoned its original mission to develop open-source artificial intelligence. His lawsuit seeks an injunction to stop OpenAI's operations and demands damages. OpenAI, though, denies Elon's accusations. Elon has publicly slammed Sam multiple times, calling him Scam Altman on X and suing OpenAI for fraud, breach of contract, and fiduciary duty. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. Drama left and right. The world is in such a fragile state, folks. It's pretty crazy. You've got to be strong, hold true to your morals, and, again, know what you hold, right? Don't let FUD freak you out or shake you out. Now, this is not brand new news, but this is brand new to me that I found out the other day, and I haven't heard anybody talking about this, so I figured I'd bring it up, and we might dive into this more in future episodes, because I certainly want to learn more about this and pass on more information, but I've heard that, before we get into this, I'll just give you this tidbit. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I've heard that XRP may not be adopted in China at all because of this Zahao network. So what is Zahao, and how does it work? How to get its XRP Plus tokens? If you are familiar with the XRPL and you're digging into, some memes and some, XRPL tokens, you may or very likely will be familiar with Xamen Wallet. Well, Xamen Wallet not only works with XRP, but it works with Zahao network as well, which is XRP Plus. So let's just do a quick little overview on what this is. According to its white paper, Zahao is a new smart contract sidechain for the XRP ledger, and it implements a feature called hooks, which allows developers to create decentralized apps and smart contracts on top of the XRPL. I've heard of hooks before, but I didn't realize that this is what it's all about. Zahao is a fork of the XRPL's open source code base, Rippled. It retains core XRPL features like the consensus protocol, decentralized exchange, and burning transaction fees, but it adds the new hooks functionality for smart contracts. XRP Plus is a native token of the Zahao network. It serves the same function as XRP does on the main XRPL, providing anti-spam protection by charging fees for transactions. The supply of XRP Plus is uncapped. The tokens are acquired in two main ways. Let me hit that one more time. The supply of XRP Plus is uncapped. That doesn't sound like such a fucking good idea, does it? But you can acquire these tokens by burning XRP on the mainnet and getting XRP Plus through the Burn to Mint portal, or you can by earning XRP Plus that is minted as monthly rewards and adjustments by the protocol. XRP Plus has its value anchored to XRP. The Burn to Mint portal allows users to burn XRP on the mainnet in exchange for minting an equal amount of XRP Plus on Zahao. This creates a direct valuation link between the two. Is Zahao an XRP Plus token bad for XRP and Ripple? Well, apparently, Zahao is not seen as competitive to XRP or harmful for Ripple. Rather, it is designed to complement the XRPL ecosystem. It implements smart contract capabilities that may eventually make their way back into the main XRPL. Having a live sidechain to test this is seen as beneficial. It's kind of like a canary network, I guess. Ripple is not involved in Zahao's development, but the project utilizes Ripple's open source code and is meant to expand the functionality of the XRP ledger as a whole. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have you even heard of Zahao before, or XRP Plus? Do you think it's going to be good for the market? Do you think it's going to be bad? Do you think it'll be adopted? Do you think China's actually going to use this instead of XRP? And how do you think that'll affect XRP's projected, worldwide payment rails? Moving on here. This is just kind of an interesting little side note. Did Chuck E. Cheese create the first crypto coin? Back in the 80s, you would put money in a machine and it would spit out tokens. You needed tokens to play video game box machines. These machines would only usually accept tokens for one gameplay. These machines were responsible for maintaining that only one game could be played at a time, therefore ensuring future players could guarantee the three initials for high score were real and not fake. Was this the brainchild of a big furry rat who did not want to accept real quarters already established and instead thought there's got to be a better way to ensure high scores and allow the businesses to collect value upfront to invest in more games, therefore growing the network? Or no? Today, we call it crypto. Thanks, Chuck. And then there's people that are saying, the opposite or whatever. No, you're just high. Tokens are used in gaming and have been around for a long time. And then another poster here says, yes, but did they have a way to ensure tokens only allowed one gameplay and therefore ensuring the high scores were correct, like a blockchain acts today? or parents able to allow us to hold our own tokens and play when we wanted, like a wallet today. Interesting concept for sure. Again, let me know what you think in the comments if that rings true, or if you think it's just some nonsense that somebody made up. A few more articles here to cover tonight. The SEC is looking to abandon efforts requiring crypto firms to register as exchanges. Pretty cool stuff. Not sure how it's going to play out, but interesting nonetheless. A proposed rule change pushing for some crypto firms to register as exchanges could be abandoned under a new directive from the acting chairman of the U.S. SEC. During a March 10th speech, acting SEC chairman Mark Ueda said he had asked SEC staff for options on abandoning part of the proposed changes that would expand regulations of alternative trading systems to include crypto firms. Interesting stuff. Would be pretty cool how it's actually going to affect the overall market. It's hard to say. Could be a sell the news event, as it usually happens, if that does go through. But I think overall that's probably better than having them to actually have to register as an exchange. Then again, would the regulation oversight help? Possibly. It's hard to say. Crypto whales know something big is about to happen with XRP. Not only crypto whales, folks, but anybody that's an XRP investor and a long-term holder knows that something's going on here. The time is nigh. There are 16 XRP spot ETFs being filed right now. XRP whales still see opportunities despite the market turmoil. They keep buying XRP in big numbers. Not a whole lot more to talk about in this article here, but why are whales buying? Everyone's freaking out. Oh no, Bitcoin's going down, Ethereum's going down, Solana's going down. XRP is holding strong. I mean, yeah, we had our dip under $2 yet again. It's just another buying opportunity. Did you buy the dip? It's like I asked in the title once again. If you're not buying those dips and you're panic selling the bottom, then you're not playing the market right, folks. You don't want to be a jeter. And if you don't know what jeter means, it's just exit early trader. You buy the top and then panic sell the bottom. It's not a good strategy. Texas GDP is bigger than Canada. Hive executive backs state Bitcoin reserve push. The state of Texas is on track to become the first U.S. state to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. A Texas Senate bill approving the creation of a state Bitcoin reserve has already passed with a 25-5 vote and is expected to move forward in the House. Frank Holmes, executive chairman of Hive Digital Technologies, sees this as a pivotal moment for the industry. People don't realize that the GDP of Texas is bigger than Brazil, with less than 1/4 of the population. Holmes noted, it's bigger than Canada. It's bigger than Russia. It bats above the norm around the world. Pretty crazy stuff, folks. Pretty crazy stuff. Mass adoption is just around the corner. To finish off today's articles here, this is kind of tying into the last one we just read there, but Wendio on U.S. plan to buy 1 million Bitcoin. She says, this is absolutely crazy. The U.S. government is preparing to buy 1 million Bitcoin, roughly 5% of the total Bitcoin supply, and what could be the biggest financial shift involving digital assets. The Bitcoin Act establishes a strategic Bitcoin reserve to fortify national security and provide economic stability. The bill proposes a 5-year phased acquisition of Bitcoin leveraging Federal Reserve remittances, gold revaluations, and the Exchange Stabilization Fund, ensuring no taxpayer dollars are spent. Crypto influencer Wendio reacted to the news, calling it absolutely crazy. She pointed out that while the U.S. government's plan might be bullish for Bitcoin in the long term, it also raised major concerns. She did acknowledge, though, that the proof of reserve requirement in the Bitcoin Act could be a game changer for transparency in government-held digital assets. Blockchain in general is going to be awesome for transparency in government spending. This means that everyone can track the U.S. government's Bitcoin holdings in real time. You can't do that with gold. Once everything's tokenized and on the blockchain through likely XRP, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to see where all the taxes are going. You're going to be able to see where all these, 3-letter agencies, where all the money is going to them and where it's being spent. Instead of just, oops, it's gone. Do remember, though, apparently the last time that the U.S. tried to, I believe it was audit Fort Knox or the Pentagon, I can't remember, I think it was Fort Knox, then 9/11 happened. And then the Pentagon, thing along with 9/11, the whole thing is crazy. Don't believe everything you see on the internet, but or on TV, folks, because, a lot of things are, what's the word I'm looking for? Propagandized to make you believe something other than what's actually going on. It's quite coincidental sometimes, isn't it? Nothing's a coincidence. With Trump's executive order already in place, multiple countries are rumored to be considering their own Bitcoin reserves, potentially kicking off a global race for Bitcoin accumulation. exciting stuff. Like I said, the opportunities around the corner are absolutely crazy. You know, mass adoption is going to happen, and it's going to happen fast. And when that switch flips, it's going to be overnight, folks. What does Bitcoin actually do, though? Think about it for a second. You know what I mean? Does it really have any utility? I'm not seeing any. Keep that in mind. Before we sign off here, just want to remind you, head over to Deck Screener and hit that rocket on Quanzilla. Be a big help for us, folks. We're I think over at 530 now. This picture's from a few days ago there. Exciting stuff. If you're not involved with Quanzilla, if you're not part of the XRPL and you know the larger ecosystem under XRP, you may not realize there's a whole bunch of shit going on there. Check out www.quanzilla.online, and that'll take you to our website where you can find all of our white paper, documentation, all that kind of stuff, access to all our NFTs, access to our Telegram group where we share a bunch of up-to-date information. We have a great community there that's thriving. We also have paid-to-raid features, so by raiding X posts, we actually pay you out weekly. Super exciting stuff there. We're doing a bunch of airdrops for holders of Quanzilla. Make sure you get in there, get over at least 1 billion Quanzilla to be part of these airdrops and NFT whitelists and so on and so forth. Involve yourself in the community. Come have a good time and see what the XRPL is all about. Because, like I said, there's hundreds and if not thousands or tens of thousands of tokens on the XRPL that people just are sleeping on. They really don't know a lot about it. And, once you find out, you're like, oh, snap, right? Because XRPL is so cheap to transact on. It's super fast. There's a really good community of people. And it's so early on the XRPL that, there's plenty of room for everybody, developing and building on the XRPL now to win. Whereas, a lot of these other markets, or I should say blockchains, there's not all that much room for people to all win anymore, right? It's a lot of people losing. But the community's so strong on XRP, on XRPL, it's quite exciting and it's quite magical to be a part of. That being said, don't get $5 wrench attacked, folks. Always do your own research. Don't trust, verify. Watch who you're giving your information to. Don't get scammed out there. Double, triple check stuff. If someone's sending you an email or calling you with saying, hey, your Coinbase account's hacked or some shit like that, don't believe them. Hang the fuck up. Call Coinbase yourself or get in touch with Coinbase support yourself, and you'll probably find out that it's just a scam. Don't give away your seed phrases ever. Always be extra hyper vigilant out there, folks, because the scammers are always trying to be one step ahead. And, they really don't have any morals. They don't give a shit about you. So make friends out there. Be safe. Enjoy your life. Be grateful for everything. As always, folks, bless and love. Bless and love. I hope you have a great night. And we'll try to get back on another episode in the next day or two here. Shit's just crazy busy, but we'll see you soon. Appreciate you all watching. Have a fantastic evening. Take care.